right. What's going on? What's going on? Where is my? Hold on. Oh boy. Let me mute that. So I don't want to get copyrighted because YouTube, What is going on? What's going on, everybody? The NFL draft is here. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. We already got mad drama. Well, let me make sure everything is good. Can y'all hear me? Make sure everything is good first. What's going on, Jeremiah, Ryan, Kirito? What's going on, bros? How y'all doing? Absolutely, man. Aaron Rodgers wants out, man. All right, that's good to hear. Good to hear. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers wants out, man. He does not. He does not want to be with the Green Bay Packers. I made a video talking about the NFL draft last year, and one thing that I'm telling you, that move of drafting Jordan Love was a stupid decision. Listen, I understand you want to get the future. Aaron Rodgers is 37 years old, but a dude that's still in his prime, that's still coming off a year working off of Matt LaFleur's system. For Think about this, guys. Since Aaron Rodgers has been with the Green Bay Packers, they have not drafted one offensive player in the first round. They haven't drafted one offensive. I think they maybe drafted. I think maybe one guy, but they haven't drafted. They've drafted primarily defensive players, and then the positions that they do draft, let's say in the later second, third, fourth rounds, are positions of need that Aaron Rodgers doesn't even need. That's insane to me. Like you draft a second, you draft the running back from Boston College, running back, and he's primarily a backup. You draft Jordan Love, primarily a backup, has no contribution at all to the Green Bay Packers. You look at Tom Brady, what he did with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It was a team that surrounded Tom Brady. You had a team that surrounded Tom Brady not only on the offensive side of the ball, but on the defensive side of the ball. And at least that organization went out there and tried to get players to make Tom Brady work, getting players like Antonio Brown and Leonard Fournette that can make it work. Tom Brady won a Super Bowl because of that. Had the defense, had the offense. It was the most complete team in football. Aaron Rodgers. Now, granted, we got to give the Packers organization some credit because they were able to upgrade the defense. But what about the offensive side of the ball? Where is that first round receiver? Where is that big, impactful, free agent wide receiver signing? We haven't seen it for Green Bay. They're not the type of organization to do that. Devontae Adams has been great. For the Packers have to look the last 4 to 5 years. Obviously, there were some other players that stepped up, like Scantling and some other receivers that I never even heard of. They came from Boise State. They came from Blue Mountain State University. I never even heard of these guys. Some of these names, some of these receivers that Green Bay has. But Aaron Rodgers feels like he just hasn't had the help. So I can't really blame Aaron Rodgers. And then you draft his replacement a year before, knowing that Jordan Love, if he's going to be ready, is going to be the future. I would want out too, man. I don't know. Bucky Brooks made an analysis on Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens potentially trading away Lamar Jackson. That I just had to make a reaction to that because I'm telling you, if the Baltimore Ravens, and you know what, it's the NFL draft. This is an unpredictable draft. Anything is possible. But if the Baltimore Ravens draft another quarterback to replace Lamar Jackson, that is the dumbest thing I've ever. That would be the dumbest mistake they will ever make. How in the hell are you going to trade away a unanimous MVP that's still developing as a passer for an unproven quarterback in this draft class, like Justin Fields, Trey Lance? Those are unproven guys. We haven't seen anything from him. Why would you trade away unanimous MVP that's still developing as a quarterback that's still in his early 20s for another unproven quarterback? It just doesn't make any sense. Exactly. Think about this. The last couple of years, Jeremiah, that is when Aaron Rodgers had a defense. You can go. Even in 2010, 2010 was a good defense, but it wasn't a great defense. I thought that defense was overrated. Yes, Clay Matthews was a monster. You had AJ Hawk, Charles Woodson, Tremont Williams. Yes, those guys were great. But that defense was not. It wasn't a great defense. It was a good defense. It was a balanced team. The last couple of years, that's when Aaron Rodgers finally had a little bit of that balance. But even then, where is the big free agent receiver? Where's that first round receiver? The Green Bay Packers have never gotten one. And he's sick of it. He's tired of it. He's sick of Tom Brady having these contributors. He's sick of Patrick Mahomes having these guys. And Aaron Rodgers stuck with players from Blue Mountain State. It's ridiculous. Absolutely, absolutely, Kirito, bro. Uh, listen, man. The Bears. I would. There. Here's the rumor. There's actually a rumor going on right now that the Bears are looking to trade up to try to get a receiver, to try to get a quarterback. Could it be Justin Fields? I think it might be Justin Fields. I don't think they're going to get another Mitchell Trubisky type of quarterback that just doesn't have a strong arm, and I don't think they're going to get a Mac Jones guy if he slides to them. But so it'll be very interesting to see what the Bears do. They could trade up for Trey Lance. Yeah, I agree with you, Jeremiah. Man, the Ravens need a wide receiver. They need a receiver so damn badly. It's the same shit that Aaron Rodgers go through. You run a power counter scheme that runs a lot of quarterback wraps, some swaps, read option plays. A lot of counter pulling with the guards and tackles. But what has that done for you in the long run? It hasn't done shit for you. I mean, you won the division, you've made the playoffs, you've produced a unanimous MVP, but what that hasn't won you a championship. The goal is to win a championship. And Lamar Jackson can't keep throwing inside of the hashes. He needs big body receivers that can not only play inside the hashes, but they can go out there and help Lamar Jackson out outside of the hashes. One of the reasons why that Josh Allen was so successful last year was because he had receivers that can do both play on the inside and play on the outside. And it improved Josh Allen's accuracy and it made him more confident to make those throws. Lamar Jackson needs that confidence boost. He needs those receivers to give him that confidence boost. And the Ravens just haven't gotten him that hype yet, that type of help. I think it's disgusting. I think it's stupid. And just regarding to my earlier point, it's blasphemous even thinking that the Ravens organization would consider trading away Lamar Jackson. That is ridiculous if that does happen. Tennessee needs an edge rusher, Ryan. The Titans need an edge rusher. They need a premier edge rusher. Um, there's some rumor, Ryan, that they're thinking about getting a slot corner. Be on the lookout for Jayvon Holland from Oregon because Jayvon Holland is probably him and maybe Asante Samuel Jr. are probably the two best players that could project as a nickel. Sean Wade too. We got to throw Sean Wade as there because he played as a nickel with Ohio State. So just look out. So just be on the lookout for that. Um, they definitely need it. Um, because you look at Logan Ryan. Look how impactful Logan Ryan was with the Tennessee Titans. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But they need it. They are desperate for looking for an edge rusher. They thought Jadeveon Clowney would solve that issue, and that just hasn't been the case right there. What's going on? Slightly moody. What's going on, brother? How's it going? Yeah, bro. Looking for a good draft from Buffalo, man. I'll definitely be on it. I'm hoping that the Buffalo Bills can do my stuff. I hope they can do their stuff as well, man. I hope that they can draft right. All right, Kirito. The San Francisco 49ers, they offered, I don't know what they offered, but they offered their picks for Aaron Rodgers. So San Francisco, they traded a bunch to move up to the number 3 overall spot. They're looking to trade that number 3 overall spot to the Green Bay Packers. That's probably the only team right now that can trade them away. That's the only team right now that can probably get to. I mean, maybe not. I mean, whoever has multiple picks for maybe the for this year and the future could be able to go up there, but I mean, we heard the story last year that Aaron Rodgers was frustrated, and guess what? Aaron Rodgers he stayed, and he decided to play for that year. So, uh, we'll find out. San Francisco is the rumor, but again, we'll see what happens. Oh, If Aaron Rodgers in that Sean Payton system, boy, that'd be a killer. The Saints actually want to trade up for a quarterback, guys. That's another thing. New Orleans actually wants to trade up for a quarterback. They want to get in the top 10 overall spot. There is one quarterback that they're in love with. I don't know who it is, but they're in love with that particular quarterback. Besides that, there are some other positions of need that the Saints are gonna aim for. Cornerback, receiver, that's a huge possibility. They love Jameis Winston. Um, they like Taysom Hill, but I mean, could you imagine if the Saints get Aaron Rodgers? My word. Yeah, I agree. If Justin Fields if he goes to the Chicago Bears, or I think that would be a good fit. I mean, he has the accuracy, he has the arm strength. I mean, he has the arm strength, he has the mobility, and most importantly, he has the intangibles. That's one thing Chicago missed, man, with Mitch Trubisky. Trubisky did not have the intangibles. He did not have the winning mentality coming from North Carolina. You know, Justin Fields since high school has always had that winning mentality. He's got the leadership qualities and skill. It's really all about Matt Nagy and that Bears organization developing him. Can they get him the right skill set? Can they get him the right skill set? And despite all the criticism that those guys are getting, I mean, they got Elshon Jeffrey. They got a couple other pieces to surround Mitchell Trubisky. They need to do more though if they get Justin Fields, because Justin Fields isn't a sure thing. None of these guys are a sure thing. So in order for everything to work, you need to get that skill, develop that skill set, and we'll see what happens there. Oh yeah, man, no problem, bro. Hopefully you enjoy your day, dog. Hopefully you enjoy your day. We got a long stream coming ahead of us, so we'll definitely find out about that. You know what? I think maybe it's that versatility, Kirito. Maybe it's that versatility. Um, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even know. I don't even know why he loves Taysom Hill that much as a quarterback. Maybe as a player alone, you love his versatility, that he can play on the receipt, that he can play in the slot, that he can play as a wildcat quarterback, that he can play as a rusher. But overall wise, I don't get really the appeal for Taysom Hill. I really don't. As far as a quarterback, we'll find out, Ryan. We'll find out, bro. We will definitely find out if Jalen Hurts is going to be the guy. Depending on what happens in this draft, we will find out. I like his intangibles. He has shown an ability to improve. I think the thing is for Jalen Hurts, however, is that he still is raw. I think he still is a little bit raw. Now, again, just like any other quarterback with those traits, with that athleticism, you need to develop him. You need to get him the proper coaching. You need to get him the players that can make him get better. I like Jalen Hurts a lot, but I mean, depending on what happens in this draft, if they draft a quarterback, then Hurts is gone. He'll probably be either a backup or he'll be a trade option. If they can get him a receiver like a Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, or if Jamar, or hell, lucky enough if Jamar Chase even falls to their lap, and if they take him, then I think that's Jalen Hurts. They see Jalen Hurts as their quarterback for the foreseeable future. Oh, I already seen that comment. That's the question. I don't know, Kirito, if they were ready, if they were prepared for Aaron Rodgers to request this. That's why I don't even think they're going to entertain this. I think they're going to dare Aaron Rodgers to sit out. If you want to leave, if you don't want to be here so badly, you don't got to show up for work. But we're not doing it this year. I mean, I don't know. It's like with that number 3 overall pick, you drafted Jordan Love to prepare for this moment. So if you do get the number 3 overall pick, now you have all the options. You can get Kyle Pitts if you want. If you want to trade back and accumulate some more picks, but still stay in that top 10, you could get a Jamar Chase to pair it with Devontae Adams or Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle for more speed in the slot. it just opens up a ton of options. You could go defense, offensive line help, but if they trade away Aaron Rodgers, the Packers are rebuilding. That means that they are prepared to rebuild then. But I don't know if that organization was prepared for Aaron Rodgers to departure. I, I personally don't believe that they were prepared for this. I think Aaron Rodgers just dropped the bombshell. He said, "Listen, bro, I don't want to be here." Now, if Aaron Rodgers would have made this request like in February or March, then I definitely believe that the Packers would have been more prepared to maybe move in a different direction from Aaron Rodgers and try to entertain the idea of who's going to trade first round picks for him. But now that this bombshell dropped, I'm not entirely sure if that's going to happen. Zach Wilson has promise. He has upside. He has a high upside. I think the floor is right in the middle a little bit, but he has a ton of upside. I don't know. You know what? I don't know, man, because it's like Zach Wilson has improved year in and year out, but I saw that game against Coastal Carolina. Like people, and he struggled. People underestimate BYU. They were a really good team. They had a top five. They had a top 10 offensive line. You had a great receiving core and a great running game. People talk about Mac Jones having the weapons surrounding him. Zach Wilson had the weapons surrounding him. I think the only difference was that Zach Wilson has a stronger arm, and I think that he's just a little bit more mobile. That's why I think that the upside is there. The upside is there for Zach Wilson, but I don't know. He had that one breakout year, and it wasn't. And again, look at the competition, and then look at the teams, the legit competition. That the teams were equal. It's not like Coastal Carolina was just way better than BYU. They were equal to each other. And Zach Wilson failed to read defenses. He failed to anticipate, and his ball placements was just it was horrible that game. So against legitimate competition, he struggled. So I don't know if he is legit. I think he has a crap ton of upside, but with the Jets organization and knowing their history, I don't know if Zach Wilson is going to be the perfect fit for him, honestly. I don't think any quarterback, honestly, would be the perfect fit. Look what they did with Sam Darnold, man. Sam Darnold's a guy with athleticism. He's a guy that has arm strength. He's a guy that has a really good mentality. And they didn't develop him. They didn't surround him with weapons. They didn't give him any help. The coaching staff was some of the worst. You hired a head coach in Adam Gates who came off of a losing record with the Dolphins. They fired him. So will they even give Zach Wilson a fair shape? I think that's a question that we'll find out if they get him. But for what we've heard, they're set on Zach Wilson. Yeah, I mean that's definitely fair because I mean again a lot of teams in the NFC North they built their defenses to kind of stop Aaron Rodgers a little bit. A lot more speed off the edge. Linebackers that can definitely cover, not those primarily run stoppers, but more faster, slimmer linebackers that can go deep in coverage, or go into depth in their coverage assignments. And now that you lose that, you don't know what you're getting. Now, here's the thing: because of Aaron Rodgers' arm strength, his athletic ability, uh, a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of teams want a Aaron Rodgers. They want a guy with a very similar mold. And a lot of these quarterbacks that are in this draft class have that same molding as Aaron Rodgers. Zach Wilson is 6'1", 200 pounds. That's mobile in and out of the pocket, and also has a strong ass arm. The same thing with Trevor Lawrence. The same thing with Justin Fields. The same thing with Trey Lance. The only person out of all those quarterbacks is Mac Jones and maybe Kyle Trask, but I don't even think Kyle Trask won't go in the first round. Um, so as a Bears fan, by getting Justin Fields and maybe getting the same caliber quarterback or same type of quarterback as Aaron Rodgers, if they can just properly develop that guy, properly develop him right, you know, you got the defense. I think the defense is going to be good for like at least another couple of years. Just got to get that offense set. Oh, that's a tough question, Ryan. I think Devontae Smith is better. And the reason why I think he's better, Ryan, is because he's a better route runner. It's the route running. I think route running ability, his release point, his release timing, the ability to really understand coverages, he has probably the best hands in this draft for not great when it comes to double coverage and making those contested coverages. After the run is really good. Not elite, but it's really good. I just think he does things better than Jalen Waddle does. I think Jalen Waddle is a is an he's a good route runner. He's not the best route runner, but he's a decent. He's good enough, I should say. His release is elite release point, but can be inconsistent at times. His speed, his after the catch ability, his quickness. It's Tyreek Hill esque. It's Tyreek Hill with the combination of speed, quickness, and just what you can do not only on special teams, but what you can do primarily in the slot, even matched out wide. Jalen Waddle can dominate. So in today's game where speed really kills, speed really matters, Jalen Waddle fits the mold. Devontae Smith is more of a Marvin Harrison, slender, but catching ability, intelligence, IQ for a receiver is there. No, he's serious. Aaron Rodgers is serious, man, and I'm not even shocked by it, honestly. Aaron Rodgers, I thought he wanted to leave last year. You know, I thought he wanted to leave last year after they traded. I mean, when you trade up to draft a quarterback in Jordan Love to be your replacement, and then during the offseason as well, you didn't really get Aaron Rodgers any weapons. You got him a backup running back. And he was the third string running back. He wasn't even the second string. He was the third string behind Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams. I would want to leave too. I look at Tom Brady and I look at all these quarterbacks getting help and during the offseason, and you look at the Packers again for this offseason, and Aaron Rodgers didn't get any offensive line help and he didn't get any receivers. What the hell are they doing? What in the hell are they doing? So yeah, Aaron, I thought that this offseason was the last straw for Aaron Rodgers, and he just did it at the. I think for Aaron Rodgers, he should have said this shit in February. Excuse my language. He should have done this in February or March. He should have did this. He should have did this around maybe February or March. If he would have said this, I think the Packers would have been better prepared to trade him away. But because he did it so late, it might not happen. But we could potentially see a sit out for Aaron Rodgers until they release him or they trade him away or trade away, and get the right compensation for him. Um okay, number 1, if we're just talking about complete, number 1 is Terrace Marshall. Number 1 will be Terrace Marshall. Number 2 is Rashad Bateman. No. Number 2 is Elijah Moore. Number 3 is Rashad Bateman, and number 4 is Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney is he's a Percy Harvin receiver. He's more of a guy that you can line him up in the backfield. He's more of a oh god, what's his name? He's Deebo Samuel. That's Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney's Deebo Samuel, Percy Harvin. Line him up in jet sweeps, bubble screens, bubble screens. A guy that can definitely play in the slot pretty well as well. But that's primarily Kadarius Toney. He's a Percy Harvin, Deebo Samuel guy. Elijah Moore is a true slot receiver that could dominate this league. He's a very good slot receiver. He has all the things you want in a receiver. The problem is his size. That's what people say is his size. And because he's not a blazing runner and he's not the quickest guy, that might teams might kind of undervalue that. Rashad Bateman is probably on this list that you gave me, Kirito. Rashad Bateman is probably he's a true number 1 receiver. He's a true number 1 like receiver type, but there's some flaws that I have against him that I love Terrace Marshall for. Terrace Marshall is a slot receiver, he's a 6'3", 200-pound big slot receiver that has speed, that has the contested catchability, or make the catches and contested. He's a phenomenal red zone threat. But most importantly, it's blazing speed. It's quickness and blazing speed. Rashad Bateman lacks the quickness and the blazing speed. Terrace Marshall is a 6'3" slot receiver that can be a mismatch against nickel guys, safeties, and linebackers and dominate inside the slot. Oh yeah, dude. This Jeremiah, man, this is gonna be the best. This might be the best draft. We might see the best draft. This is a very unpredictable draft. We don't know when the hell is going to happen. There's so much news coming out. Aaron Rodgers leaving. The Saints wanting to trade up for a top 10 pick. The Falcons, what are they going to do? Are they going to get Kyle Pitts, or are they going to get a Matt Ryan type of replacement for the future? We don't know what's going to happen. Besides maybe the top two. Your what? Here you go. Besides maybe the top two overall picks being secured, this is a very unpredictable draft. We don't know what's about to happen. Yeah, man. I mean, I look at him. I just look at Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison was a 180-pound receiver, but he looked like he was 120. He was all skin and bones, but he was underrated as far as strength. Great possession receiver, can run all the route trees. You know, and I think that Devontae Smith is that same caliber of player. I don't care that he's 166 pounds. What did you do on tape? Does your tape prove that you can play? And some people may say, well, because Devontae Smith played against college players, but look at the size of these college players. Look at the corners that he played against. These are big corners. These are physical, strong SEC corners. These are 200-pound corners that he's going against, man. And man. Let me tell you something. If Devontae Smith falls and if he falls to the 20s, you better be careful, man. Better be careful. It's the same. It's the same thing I've said with Justin Jefferson. Let Justin Jefferson slide and let him go to an actual good team that has good passing concepts and a good schematic for his skill set. He's gonna dominate. All right, Jeremiah, man, take your time. Take your time, bro. Let me tell you something, man. If Devontae Adams requests for a trade, they're not doing that. They're not. I mean, if it's one thing for to handle Aaron Rodgers, but now to get away your best receiving weapon, especially when you drafted a quarterback in Jordan Love last year, then that's not happening. I mean, maybe it could because again, if they do consider the option of that happening and they get compensation, if you trade Devontae Adams, a team is going to want him for first round value. So yeah, maybe it's a complete rebuild. I mean, it would literally be a complete rebuild then if that were to happen. Next year's number one overall pick. That's a good question. That's a very good question. There's a lot of good talent. There's really a lot of unknown talent too. Um, maybe Sam Howell. You know, there's a lot of good talent. I might have to do something about this. Hold on for a minute. That's a very very good question. Thinking about that right now. Actually, hold on. I mean, it's like the more I'm thinking about it, maybe Sam Howell. Maybe I mean, a lot of, and I don't know why people are doing this. People are hyping up Tyler Shaw. People are hyping up Keaton Slovis. Um, you got JT Daniels from Georgia that has a lot of upside to it. This is it's a tough question because normally the number one overall pick is going to be the number one overall pick normally is a quarterback, and I think that's going to continue to happening. Maybe who knows, Drake Jackson. Zion Nelson. No, not Zion Nelson. That's ridiculous. The more I'm thinking about that, I don't think he's going to be a defensive player from the number one overall pick. Um, I can tell you, and I will say this, man. Uh, 2023, if DJ Uiagalelei does his thing in college, he's going to be the number one overall pick in 2023. I can tell you that right now. If DJ Uiagalelei continues to impress and he continues to develop and get better, that's the number one overall pick right there for 2023. And I'm calling it. 2022 is hard because it's not really a good quarterback class yet until we watch, of course, college football this year. This year was kind of, we knew that Trevor Lawrence was going to be the number one overall pick since his freshman year. We knew Tua was going to be a top overall pick as soon as he got out after the national championship game. Next year, it's I don't know. There's a lot of guys that I like, but they're not number one overall material. Yeah, man, I feel bad for Devontae Adams too because, you know, oh man, I really do feel bad for Devontae Adams. But hey, I mean, like I said, if the Packers feel like, you know what, if Aaron Rodgers is gone, we might as well not stop there. Let's just rebuild. I mean, we let's rebuild. I mean, we don't believe Jordan Love is ready yet. I don't think, Devontae Adams is getting older. Let's try to get some compensation, try to get younger talent to build around a quarterback for the future. Yeah. I know some mock draft for next year had Derek Stingley as the number one overall pick. I think that's ridiculous. A cornerback is not going number one overall. Um, but I will say, he might be the top draft prospect. People were saying that his freshman year after the type of year that he had. Yeah, Seth Williams. Seth Williams reminds me of Des Bryant. He reminds me a lot of Des Bryant. He's a guy that can make the toughest contested catches, but his route running ability is underrated, very underrated. Not the best, but underrated. He still has a lot more room to grow, but yeah, he's probably gonna go in the fourth, fifth round. Tamarian Terry from Florida State, same situation. Very, I mean, he was projected as a first round pick, but this year he had injuries. His team, Florida State, was garbage. Um, he just did not have a good 2021 year. It was just an unlucky year for him, but he was a projected first round pick, and he might slide as a third, fourth, or maybe fifth round type of pick. He might slide there as far as his value. So there's a lot of good receivers in this draft class, but Seth Williams, very underrated, man. Very underrated receiver. I know one, the San Francisco 49ers that's gonna be the pick that I think I cannot wait to see. I can't wait to see it, and I can't wait to share with you guys my reaction about it because whoo, Mac Jones or Trey Lance. That's the gist right now. It's Mac Jones, Trey Lance. Who is it gonna be? That'd be good, honestly. I mean, the Bengals at this point. They can just draft the best available player at that point. If Jamar Chase is there, he's the best receiver in this draft class. You just add another weapon to Joe Burrow. You got AJ Green, you got Jamar Chase, and you have T Higgins now. That sets up your receiving core for the next year, maybe until AJ Green decides to leave. But at least you have a dynamic duo in T Higgins and Jamar Chase. If you want to go with Kyle Pitts as a tight end, as long as Kyle Pitts fits the Bengals scheme and he's a player that can line up out wide or line up in the slot instead of an inline tight end, then hey, that's another good decision. Then if you want to draft a tackle like Panay Sewell or Rashawn Slater, then that's another good decision for the Bengals. The Bengals are at this point, they have a ton of options. I love Jamar Chase to the Bengals because he's the best receiver in this draft class, and he already played with Joe Burrow. He knows what Joe Burrow's all about. So why not? Honestly, just get him the best. Just get him the best. The number one thing overall is as long as Joe Burrow is happy, and as long as they continue to work with Burrow, and as long as they continue to develop him and get him the necessary weapons, so that not only can he succeed in the NFL, but he can stay healthy. That's the most important thing. I think that's what matters. Hold on for a minute. I'm trying to think. Who's that kid from? All right. I just had to fix some stuff real quick. All right, I'm good. That's this is that this is that the safety from Illinois? Neil, I forgot. I think that's the safety from Illinois. AJ Green's on the Cardinals. My fault. Okay. AJ Green's on the Cardinals. Okay. Okay. So 47 is dude, 47 is god damn. Woo. Fuck. Excuse my language, but damn. He's a wide receiver from Illinois. Okay, Illinois has a couple of top draft prospects. There is a safety that's projected as a fourth round pick. They had a receiver that's projected as a second round pick. But yeah, 47-inch vertical. Let me listen. If he as you know, if he's a big receiver, if he has, I'm gonna have to check him out. I'm gonna have to check him out. But 47-inch vertical. Did he time well, Nil? Do you like his tape? I gotta check him out. I gotta check him out probably after the stream is over. I gotta check that out. Oh, let me write that. Let me write that name down. Let me just write it right here. Okay, I just misspelled that. All right. All right, I'll check him out. I'll definitely will check him out. Faster in game is probably Swartz. Swartz is extremely fast, man. He's fast. Waddle's quicker though. Waddle has that combination of quickness, but Swartz is the fast is by far. No, I wouldn't say it by far because Jalen Waddle's a four. He's probably a 4.2, sub 4.4 guy. But Swartz is a straight line burner. Same thing with Henry Ruggs, straight line burner. Waddle just provides a quickness. Built like ooh. So around what 6'2", 220 pounds. Let me tell you something, man. Um, if he has, let me tell you something. If he has good tape, I think if he has good tape, he's clearly got the measurables. He's got the pro day workout. Shit, sometimes you gotta take a chance, man. These players that go to these small schools, they're undervalued, and they get into the second and third round, and they get into the right team, and they become some of the best players in the NFL. Man, happens every year. Happens every year. My favorite under the radar guy. You know what? I actually have a list for it too. I actually have a list for some under the radar guys. I would say Tamarian Terry is probably my number one guy because he was projected as a first round pick, but because he did not have a good enough year, because he didn't have a good year, um, he's now projected as a fourth round pick. And injuries, his team sucking, the concepts, the schematics, it wasn't there at Florida State for him. It was an unlucky year. And if Tamarian Terry would have opted out, he would have been a first round pick. So that's one guy that I consider undervalued because he's good. Because again, he's going to be a third, maybe a fourth round pick. And if he gets into the right team, that's a guy that can definitely do something there. Um, I would also consider Jayvon Holland as well. Jayvon Holland is one of my favorite players that I've seen. I've been watching him for the last couple of years. Opted out this year. He's a nickel guy that can definitely play as a safety, but most importantly, it's his versatility. He's a ball hawk. He can play extremely well in the run game. He has the speed. The only problem is that he's undersized. He's like 5'9" or 5'10", and some teams will definitely undervalue that. And some teams, and again, a team is not gonna they're not gonna pick a nickel back as a for a first round pick. So he's the guy that's probably going to slide to the second or maybe even to the third round, maybe because they kind of question the opt out. But I also like Jayvon Holland. Um, I would say that Quinn Hyrnus guy from Wisconsin, Whitewater. I like him. I like him a lot. Um, Very athletic. He's a very athletic interior offensive lineman, extremely athletic, and he punishes people. Um, so that's one of the guys too. Javonte Williams from North Carolina is one of my favorite running backs in this draft class. That's because I like power backs. I'm in love with power backs. So I love Javonte Williams from North Carolina. I'm trying to think of some else. Um, I like Aaron Robinson from UCF. Andre Cisco from Syracuse, which is like he's like an hour away from me. So Andre Cisco from Syracuse. Peyton Turner from Houston. Pay attention to Peyton Turner, man, from Houston, the edge rusher from Houston. I like him. I like him a lot. I don't know why people don't like him. I know Pro Football Focus is in love with Peyton Turner, but Peyton Turner is another good prospect to look out for. Very athletic edge rusher, very long rangy guy. Provides a burst and quickness. Um, Eric Stokes from Georgia. You know, he Eric Stokes ran a 4.2. But I always liked him as a man coverage corner. Always liked him as a man coverage corner. Um, Tommy Tugai from Ohio State as an interior defensive lineman. We didn't really see him play in the national championship game, but he's a powerful interior defensive lineman that can play as a 3 technique nose. Um, I'm trying to think who else real quick. I'll name a couple guys. 'Cause again, this could literally be the entire thing. Trey Smith from Tennessee. I think he's going to be a guard. He could play as a tackle, but he's going to be playing. He's probably going to be a guard. Kellen Mond for Texas A&M. Amon St. Brown from USC. Bobby Brown, boy, from Texas A&M. Boy, that dude is strong, very powerful interior defensive lineman. I like Bobby Brown for A&M. He's probably going to be a nose or maybe could slide to a 3 technique if he's on a 4-3 system. Um, I like Jalen Darden. Jalen Darden. Jalen Darden is one of those other players that I like too. Um, I'm trying to think of some others real quick. Some other players. Um, Cameron Sample. Cameron Sample from Tulane, the edge rusher from Sample. Tulane had a weird system because it was a hybrid. He can play as a 3-4 or 4-3 edge rusher. I like him. That's another player that I like. Michael Carter from North Carolina. Ben Cleveland, interior offensive lineman for Georgia. I'll give one more. And I like Robert Hainsey. Robert Hainsey, the interior offensive lineman from Notre Dame. I mean, again, this could be forever, but those are some of the players that I just kind of view as under radar guys. There's a whole bunch of them. This is a good, very very good draft class, bro. Yeah, I'm trying to catch up with some of your comments. I got Neil. I'm gonna take a look at him, bro. I'm definitely gonna take a look at him. That's for damn sure. Yeah, I mean the problem with those guys, those burner type of guys, Kirito, is that they're just man. It's like, and it's not really their fault. It's the coach's fault. They focus so much on the players in this of what they can do in the seam. They're straight line burners. They don't really focus on the important details such as route running ability, release point, really understanding defensive concepts. They just want them to just get in there and go, not really developing a receiver's game. Tylan Wallace from Oklahoma State. Thank you for bringing him up, Neil. Tylan Wallace, very underrated receiver. I think he's a true number one receiver. Now, number one receivers that primarily play on the outside are they're starting to get undervalued. More teams are valuing receivers that can play in the slot or that can play in the slot or that can play on the other side wide out. But they don't really value those 6'1", those 6'2", 200-pound guys. That's 4'5" type of runners. I mean, they don't really value those guys anymore. Sadly, people want Tyreek Hills. People want more speed. They want more flexibility of what you can do in the slot. They want Debo Samuels. I mean, Tylan Wallace is a very underrated ass receiver. I agree with that. Yeah, I'm excited to see what Arizona 2 does, man. I mean, again, you picked up what AJ Green, Larry Fitzgerald is there. You got a couple of key. Well, well, we don't know what the hell Larry Fitzgerald is going to do. He might actually retire. Um, but for the most part, we'll see. I'm very excited to see what Arizona does with their pick. They could get a receiver. They could get a receiver. They can definitely get some offensive line help by maybe picking up the tackle from USC. We'll definitely see what they do. Um, they might address defense. Defense has definitely been a little bit of a concern. Um, Arizona is one of those teams where they could definitely maybe draft the best available player, which is there's nothing wrong with that. Jamon Davis, if I had a big board, Jamon Davis would be like 34, 35 with me. He has a ton of athletic upside. He's a great tackler. He knows how to find gaps. He knows how to identify the gaps and explode through it. I think the problem with Jabon Davis is the 1 year of tape. It's the same problem I had with Micah Parsons. It's the 1 year of production. Where was his productivity at 2019? Because I watched Jabon Davis a little bit last year, and I'm like, where was this at? He took such a huge ass jump from 2019 to 2020. It's exciting because it proves that this player has upside. It proves that this player has the ability to develop and learn. But it is a little bit of a concern, and especially because this is not a strong linebacker class. This is not a strong 4-3 outside, off the ball linebacking class. Um, so would you kind of risk getting with any team in the first round? Would you risk kind of getting a Jamon Davis linebacker where he can definitely be selected in the second round, or do you want to take that risk and pushing him up in the first? Triple core. I like Najee Harris. No, no, no. I like Travis Etienne. I'm a Bama fan. I like Travis Etienne more. Travis Etienne is just explosive. He's just a more explosive player. He's more explosive. He's faster. He runs a lot harder. Najee Harris is 200 and he's around 240 pounds, but he lacks the burst. He lacks the explosiveness that I want from a running back. Now he's a Le'Veon Bell back. He's a Le'Veon Bell back. He's a guy that can play in the slot. You can play him out wide, and he provides a lot of flexibility in your passing game as a receiver. Travis Etienne is more of a screen guy. He's more of a dude that you can set up, and if you throw on some screens, even though I think he's a very underrated receiving back because we have seen Clemson use him as far as wheel routes. We've seen them use him as far as some in breaking routes as well. And Travis Etienne has done well. But Travis Etienne provides he provides speed. It's the speed, it's the explosiveness. And Najee Harris just lacks that. I don't know. And I love Najee Harris. But the criticism for a lot of running backs if they're not taking the first round is they have to be complete. And Najee Harris isn't complete yet. He's close, he's lacking explosiveness. He's lacking speed. That's the number one criticism. I love Najee Harris, but if we're talking about drafting a running back in the first round, when this is a good ass draft class where receivers are deep, quarterbacks are deep, offensive line, offensive tackles are deep, which is rare, but offensive tackles are deep, edge rushers are deep, cornerbacks are deep. I don't know if running back is going to be the priority, should be the priority, especially because we know that running backs can be taken in late rounds and still produce. James Robinson's a perfect example. 6th round running back, top 5 rusher in the NFL. Track and field must have helped him. Track and field, baby. I think the thing that NFL scouts that are probably evaluating Shorts, I think they're questioning. Does he have a? Does he have a? Is this the ceiling? Is this his true ceiling? Does he have any upside at all as an NFL receiver instead of just being a Marquise Goodwin track receiver? I think that's really the question for Schwartz. If teams love him and they feel like they can develop him and they feel like he can be something better, then they'll take him. I don't know if he's gonna be. He's not gonna be a first round pick. He's probably gonna be a day 3, 5th round, maybe 6th round pick. Yeah, I mean, knowing Cliff Kingsbury's system, yeah, even though you got DeAndre Hopkins, you have AJ Green on the outside. AJ Green hasn't been reliable. The last couple of years, he just hasn't been reliable. He's been hurt. Injuries have been playing up. So do you truly believe that AJ Green is going to be that guy? Or just for an insurance policy, do you want to draft a receiver that can just make your quarterback better? Because at the end of the day, this is all about making Kyler Murray better. And if Devontae Smith falls to them, and that's the best available player on their board, you take the best available player instead of going with the position of need, because we've seen a lot where teams try to go with position of need instead of taking the best available player, and it backfires on them. So I mean, it depends on it depends on the draft order. It depends on where these players fall. I do agree that they definitely need more offensive. They need an offensive tackle, and this is a deep, loaded tackled class. Um, so do they feel like if Rashawn Slater is there and they want to take him and they feel like that's the best player on their board, go ahead, man, take him. But if any of the top receivers that they value as the best available player on their board, now you have to come to terms with, should we go with position of need or do we take the best available player? I don't like Davis Mills. I think Davis Mills is a day 3 pick, honestly. I think Davis Mills um, is a day 3 pick in my opinion. He's got arm strength, he's got talent, but he's raw. He's a few, maybe he's not even, maybe he's 3, maybe 4 years off. I think he's just raw. It depends on his it really just depends on his case, because man, Deshaun Watson, man, it's a tough break. Very, very tough break, man. Um Obviously innocent before proven guilty, but with Deshaun Watson, it's a tough situation that he has to go through. It's honestly a tough situation that he's honestly going through. Um Man, I mean, if this thing never would have happened, I think Deshaun Watson has all the leverage in the world to being that guy. But because of everything that went on, I don't know. I really truly don't know what is going to happen. Obviously the NFL is investigating. There's authorities that are investigating. There hasn't been any criminal cases. There hasn't been any charges that were filed against him. So I mean, that's just something that might not even get settled until the fall. So, well, I mean, we'll definitely keep an eye on it. I'll definitely keep an eye on the situation, but I'm just wishing the best. Hopefully, everything can be resolved. Are you referring to Javante Williams kid though? You know, because it's hard. I'm a huge Alabama fan, but when it comes to the NFL, I don't know if not. I don't. I mean, I will take any player that can improve the Buffalo Bills. I'll take it. I will take it. But knowing Brian Dayball and knowing the scheme that Buffalo has, The only value that I can see of getting Najee Harris is that he's going to be a receiving back. He's going to be a guy that you can line up in the. He's a guy that you can line up in the slot. You can line him out wide, but it's kind of similar to kind of building a quarterback. If you take Najee Harris, you need interior offensive linemen. That means for the third or the fourth or whatever rounds you want to select, you need interior offensive linemen because the linemen that you have now, they're more set up to be pass blockers. The blocking concepts, the blocking concepts that we've seen, it's for blocking, for pass blocking, not run blocking. They weren't physical enough in the run game. They got dominated off the run game last year. If you're going to take Najee Harris, he's there to do multiple things. He's there to run in between the tackles, and he's there to be a receiving back. And if the Bills feel like, you know what, we're more of a pass happy type of team. We want more speed. We want more flexibility. I don't know if taking a running back in the first round is going to be good value for him. I can see it too. I mean, Arizona needs a running back. I think Kenyon Drake is done. I like Kenyon Drake a lot. But maybe getting again, this is a good running back draft class, and there's a lot of versatility. There's a lot of good receiving backs there, as well. So yeah, I can see that. I want the Bills to go after an edge rusher. The Bills' biggest weakness has been the edge rushing position. They need edge rushers. I thought last year definitely proved that the Bills not getting any pass rushing pressure, I think ended up kind of costing them at the end. Now again they were 13-3, but Mario Addison they paid $30 million for. He wasn't the guy. Their best pure pass rusher was Jerry Hughes. Mario Addison had like what 5 or 6 sacks, but he was inconsistent as a pass rusher. He was just there for a lot. A lot of those sacks were just cleanup plays. You need an edge rusher. You need a guy with speed. You need a guy with youth. You need a guy with quickness. You need a guy with upside. And I like Aziz Ojolari. Quiddy Pie provides the athleticism. He's a little bit, he's raw, but he provides the burst, the athleticism, and the upside. Um, Jalen Phillips, there's rumor that Jalen Phillips might slide down. If Jalen Phillips is there, take him. I don't care about the concussions. I care about what he did on tape. He played a full healthy season for us for the Miami Hurricanes last year. He's clearly the best pass rusher in a player besides Mason, maybe besides Jason Owe that has the best upside. You take Jalen Phillips if he slides to you, but I want an edge rusher. I want a guy that provides pressure to the quarterback because defensively, for the most part, I want interior defensive linemen in the later rounds, and I want a guy that can get pressure to the quarterback. It can't our best player on that defensive line can't be a 33-year-old edge rusher that doesn't even accumulate a lot of sacks. He provides a lot of pressure, but there's no one there to clean up. Jerry Hughes is there a majority of the time, but he doesn't even get the sack. That's fine as long as he provides pressure. The problem is there's nobody else to clean up after Jerry Hughes besides AJ Klein, who was an off-ball linebacker that transitioned to a hybrid line to a more Lorenzo Alexander hybrid linebacker. That's a problem. And if Mario Addison, you paid $30 million, doesn't provide for you that doesn't provide that extra pressure, there's no need for him to be there. Vernon Butler hasn't done anything. Ed Oliver has taken a step back. You get Starla Tule back, but he's more of a nose. And I don't know if Ed Oliver is good enough yet to be a great interior pass rusher that we thought he would be. So I want an edge rusher. It's time. We've been ignoring that issue for years. They have James Conner now. Okay. So James Conner is a guy. Yeah, James Conner he's a power runner. I like James Conner. Power runner, provides some versatility in the passing attack. Yeah, they're fine. I forgot that they got James Conner. Yeah, I think they're fine. Again, if they still want to draft a running back, that's up to them. I think that would be a waste, especially because you get a running back that still is young. Um, but yeah, I think it's open season. Honestly, open season. I agree. The Buccaneers exposed the formula. You got to put pressure. That's the only way. You have to put pressure on Kansas City. And what did Kansas City do this offseason? Yes, they lost a couple of their best linemen, but they replaced them with some of their best linemen. You went out there, you got Orlando Brown. You went out there and you got the center from New England. So the offensive line didn't really improve, but it didn't get worse. You still have a solid offensive line that protects Patrick Mahomes. So you know what Patrick Mahomes and that offense is going to be like going into 2021. In order for Kansas City to lose, most important in the playoffs, you need edge rushers. I think all the top teams, maybe besides Baltimore, but maybe besides Cleveland, all those teams lacked a true number one edge rusher. They all lacked it. Buffalo, Baltimore. Baltimore had even Baltimore. I would even say Baltimore. Um, I know they lost the one cat that went to New England, but even Baltimore has a weakness for that. Tennessee never had a true edge rusher. Indianapolis had Justin Houston, but he was old. I think all the top teams in the AFC are lacking a true number one pass rusher. I think you make a good point. Hmm. I'm trying to think. I mean, the more I'm thinking about it, I think the NFC did. I mean, I'm just thinking about a couple examples, but you look at Smith, what he was able to do. He was a Defensive of the Year candidate. You had Shaq Barrett, you had Jason Pierre-Paul. Um, you had Anunoby. The NFC had a lot of good pass rushers. They had a lot. Khalil Mack. They had a lot of good pass rushers this year. Kyle Trask is probably going to be selected in the second round, maybe even the third. I don't know who's going to grab him. He'll get selected. He'll get picked up. I don't know who's going to grab him though. But he'll be more of a backup player, more of an insurance policy. He'll be developed. He'll be mentored by a veteran quarterback. But I don't know where he would go. But because honestly, like again, in Kyle Trask's case, I don't think a team is going to move up or a team is going to select him to be a starter for this year. He's a guy that's going to be mentored. He's going to be a backup quarterback for at least maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 years until maybe he gets an opportunity or a shot. Um, so any team honestly can get him, but he'll get selected. He'll get selected. Jadeveon Clowney as a pass rusher. Well, I don't know if he's going to be a good enough pass rusher to push Cleveland up. But I will say that he's going to be if he stays healthy, he's going to be a dominant edge defender. I think pass rushing skills wise, I think he's kind of lost that flavor. I think injuries have kind of killed that thing as far as him being a dominant edge rushing presence. But as far as a edge defender, he provides a lot in the run game, which I definitely thought that's something that Cleveland could fix was, they could fix the run game a little bit. So again, Jadeveon Clowney provides a lot for the run game. Um, Cleveland is a legitimate threat because if you look at all the teams in the AFC, Cleveland might be the most complete team. Seriously, I mean, you look at edge. You got the dominant number one rusher in Myles Garrett. You got those players in the secondary with Denzel Ward. Safeties wise, again, Grant Delpit's going to be returning back from health. There's a couple of safeties I liked. You got one of the best offensive lines in the league. You got the best running back duo in the league. You got a good quarterback in Baker Mayfield. Um, you know, there are some things that they can do to solidify, like the receiving position. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they trade Odell Beckham Jr. today. Don't be surprised if the Browns trade away Odell Beckham Jr. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. And maybe they draft another number one receiver that fits Baker Mayfield, that fits that fits his skill set. But the Browns are missing a couple of things that can maybe get them over the hump. But they're the closest. I wouldn't say they're the most complete. I'll take that back. They're the closest thing besides Kansas City as far as being a complete team. Oh, yep, yep. Oh boy, we are about close. We're about what 3.5 hours away from this draft. I cannot wait, boys. I cannot wait for it. Kyle Trask with the Packers. I don't think that's gonna happen, Kirito, because Jordan Love. Um, Now it's again it's possible because I think at this point Kyle Trask is going to be there as a backup, but he's more of an air. He's more of a the scheme that he was in is actually very similar to Cliff Kingsbury. It's more similar to Mike Shanahan. Um, so I don't know if he's a proper fit for Green Bay, but who knows, man? Like I said, it's open season. You just never know. We'll see what the Bears do, man. We'll see what they do. You know, if Justin Fields might fall to them, honestly, they might. And if Justin Fields is there, you got to take him. But they desperately needed franchise quarterback. They desperately needed that organization. Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy, bro. Holy crap, those two have been a mess. They desperately need a quarterback. They desperately need a quarterback. Oh boy, I don't even do the Rams even have a. I don't even think they have a first round pick this year, don't they? The Rams, I don't know. Honestly, the Rams, the last 3 years, they have gambled of trying to get players that can play now, and they've done it, and they've paid a majority of their players. They've kind of messed themselves up in cap for like the next couple of years. Um, they're looking to win now. After what they saw from 28 that 2019 year, or I'm sorry, that 2018 year, they gambled and they tried to go in a win now mentality, and they got players like Jalen Ramsey. You look at guys I forgot, but they got the other guy from Jacksonville. I mean, they gambled as far as getting players that are win now, and they've come close to doing something. I still feel like they can do something. Obviously, getting Matthew Stafford's a big deal because you still have Robert Woods, um, and you have Cooper Cup. So obviously, you have those two players there. Um, the offensive line though is starting to kind of fall out a little bit. I don't know. I feel like honestly the Rams put themselves in a very tough position because if it doesn't work out this year, it's not going to work out next year because next year the cap is gone and they also fall off of picks. Yeah, Tyler, the Saints are trying to get a top 10 pick. The Saints are trying to get a top 10 pick. If Aaron Rodgers, if the Packers decide to say, you know what, we're going to trade away Aaron Rodgers, they could very well move up to the number 3 overall pick because San Francisco they they were talking to Green Bay. They wanted to trade their number 3 overall pick for Aaron Rodgers. So it's possible that Green Bay can make a play if they're settled in trading him away. It's possible that the Saints, we've heard rumors from them. Those are really the only two teams that we've heard significant trades. Besides that, not really anybody else. Um, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Pittsburgh tries to settle up and they try to take a top and they try to get a top 10 overall pick. Um, Tennessee is one of those teams as well that that's rumored to try to get to the top 10. Obviously we'll see from draft night, but probably the one team that I think realistically could climb to that top 10 is New Orleans. Yeah, I think the problem though for the Rams Oh, the problem for the Rams, man, is that every single year these key contributors are leaving LA every year, and they don't have cap, they don't have draft picks. And these small contributors that again, they did a really good job in contributing to your team, they're not there. You lost your tight end. You lost the edge rusher that used to play for Jacksonville. I forgot what his name is, but he's gone. You're starting to Dante Flower. You're starting to lose these players here and there that I don't know if the Rams have the depth to fill in those needs. So yes, you got Jalen Ramsey. Yes, you got Aaron Donald. Yes, you have Matthew Stafford. But here's the question for Matthew Stafford: is he healthy enough to get the Rams over the hump and be the team to beat in the NFC? He suffered another major injury last year. Now again, he played a lot of games, but look at his career. It's been nothing brittle with injuries, right? The offensive line is starting to fall apart a little bit. Every year, there seems to be key offensive linemen that are leaving. The receiving game is still there with Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, and Sean McVay is still obviously a great offensive innovator. But teams in the NFC also get better every single year. And they're also competing in a very difficult division with the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. It's not an easy division to try to get out of. So we'll see what happens. But there's going to be a lot of questions going, for the LA Rams going into the 2021 season for sure. I can see that. That's honestly realistic, though, bro. I can definitely see that from happening. Well, Ryan, they're in love with Jameis Winston. That's from what we've heard. They're in love with them. Um, so maybe. There is a rumor that they are in love with the quarterback. They're in love with the quarterback. So if they do get into the top 10, and there truly is a quarterback that is there for them, um, they could take it. Again, Jameis Winston is a guy that I can definitely see them giving him a shot because again, he's a guy that understands the system. He was a backup for Breeze, and when he did get in, he played fairly well. So with Sean Payton there, I think they will give him an opportunity and a chance. But there is also a possibility that if the Saints do trade up and they do get it, and they do get into the top 10, it's possible that there's a quarterback there for them to take that they love, and Jameis Winston doesn't get that opportunity. He just becomes the backup. Or he gets his shot, becomes the starter, and the quarterback that they get becomes kind of the Aaron Rodgers, he becomes that Aaron Rodgers, or Patrick Mahomes guy for that year. But it's very possible, very possible. It's definitely not gonna be Taysom Hill. That's for damn sure, man. Taysom Hill will not get that. I don't. No, he's not getting that chance. But yeah, Jameis Winston again, a guy that understands the system, meant sat behind Drew Brees for a year. When he got his chance, he played well. 3 hours and 5 minutes, bro. Oh, I cannot wait for this NFL draft. But that is gonna do it for me, guys. I just wanted to just wanted to do a quick stream for you guys. Thank you guys so much for stopping by the stream. Just a quick live stream. I don't know if I'm gonna do a after the party live stream, but I will let you guys know on Twitter, on Twitter or in the community tabs for look out for those. If you guys don't follow me on social media, by the way, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Um, that I'll have those links right below the description, so make sure to check out for that. But yeah, man, thank you guys so much for the stream. I have a bunch of videos coming out relying to the NFL draft, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, thank you guys so much for stopping by. So anyway, guys, thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Kirito. Thank you, Jeremiah, Tyler. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Really appreciate it. But yeah, guys, Jant Sports, aka Jant716. I'll check you guys out later. Also, Slightly Moody, shout out to him as well. I'll definitely be talking to you about the Bills. So if you're watching, we'll definitely get together and we'll definitely talk about the draft as well. But yeah, Jant Sports, aka Jant716. I'll check you guys out later. Peace.